Welcome back to Red Glasses Talks. The title is Identity Found, Part 3. So, there's only one place we've been saying where you can find your true identity. You may disagree with me. I'd love to sit down and talk with you about that if you disagree with me, because I can make a great case for it. There is one place where you can find your true identity. Last time we said there are several things. In fact, there are 5 things. We've only mentioned 2 so far. The 2 that we've mentioned so far, that if you want to understand your true identity, find your true identity, your value and your worth, first you got to believe that God created you. Number 2, you got to believe that the one that created you loves you. Number 3, you got to believe that the one who loves you and created you sent his son Jesus to die for you. You see, we've got a problem. We are broken people. If we are perfect people and everybody on the planet were perfect people, we wouldn't have all the problems. We just have perfect people in perfect situation, perfect homes and perfect environment and perfect everything. It's broken. And it seems like if we are a thinking, reasonable person, we would say to ourselves, how do we get broken? And is there an answer to get fixed? And it ain't drugs. It's not all the other crazy things that people do to try to fill up the hole and the emptiness in their life. Only Jesus Christ can do what we need. And what we need is we need to be forgiven of our sin and have our guilt and shame wiped away by what he did on the cross. You know, we hear Jesus and what he did on the cross, or I would imagine, I bet you 60% of the people don't even understand Jesus dying on the cross and what that meant and how significant it was. That it was a true event. That if you would have been there when it happened and you would have run your hand across that cross, you would have gotten a splinter in your hand. It really happened. It really did. It changes everything for those of us who are willing to cry uncle and say, Jesus, I need you. So this passage gives you the attitude of Jesus about what he's done for you and me. It says in Philippians chapter number 2, beginning with verse number 6, though he, Jesus, was God, he did not think equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. He humbled himself in obedience to God, died a criminal's death on the cross. He gave up everything for you. Now, how in the world, if that is true, and it is true, millions and millions of people over the years have embraced it and their lives have changed, how can you hear that and have such a daggone hard heart that you dismiss it? You simply don't know the truth, or you got a case of pride, or you're just too stubborn to give in. But there comes a point, if the statement Christ died for you is going to mean anything for you, it's got to become personal. The 4th thing is you got to believe that the one who has made you has gifted you. Not only spiritual gifts, the Bible calls them, but he's given you talents. So you got to discover, cultivate, and use those in your life for the way he wants you to. You got to believe that the one who has made you plans for you every day. Every day. God has a plan for your life. He cares enough for you. He doesn't just want us running around here on the planet trying to figure out our own plan. He said, I got the plan. God's plan is the best plan. God's plan is the best plan. Your plan never is going to be better than God's plan. My plan is not going to be better than his plan. So here's a homework assignment for you. List all the things you dislike about yourself. Make a list. You go down the list and check off the most bothersome ones. Talk to somebody and share your list with them. Talk about it. Accept the things that you can't change. If you have blue eyes, you're probably going to continue to have blue eyes. Then go out and burn the list. I challenge you to do that. We all have stuff that we don't like about ourselves. So, if you want to find your true identity, if you want to find your true value, if you want to find your true worth, here's what you got to do. You got to believe that God created you. You got to believe that the God that made you loves you. You got to believe that Jesus died on the cross for you. You got to believe that the one that made you has gifted you. You got to believe that the one who has made you plans for your life. So how does all this become more than just information? There's a key step, and I've already said what it is. You have to humble yourself, cry uncle, and say, Lord, I give up. I have a lot of questions, but if you're real and all these things I hear about you, that you love me and care for me and all the rest of it, if it's true, I want it to be true for me. Jesus, please come into my life. Clean me up. Forgive my sin. Forgive my stubbornness. Forgive all the things in my life that displease you. And from this day forward, help me to become the person that you have always wanted me to be. And you know what? He will do it. He will do it. So my challenge to you is, let him do it. Just say now, come in. Come in. And see what happens. Whew. No one will ever love you like Jesus.